Do you ever think about why some people can handle anything that life throws at them and others give up as soon as things get hard? The answer isn't ability, luck, or even chance, it's how you think. The great fighter Miyamoto Musashi showed that your mind controls everything you do. Today, I'm going to show you how your mind can be your most powerful tool. Reason 1. It shapes your perception of challenges as threats or opportunities. Trouble will always be a part of life. The task itself doesn't make a difference between those who rise and those who fall. How they see it does. Whether you see problems as threats you need to avoid or as chances to grow depends on how you think about them. It was always dangerous and at war when Musashi lived. Every fight could mean the difference between life and death. But he never let fear take over his thoughts. He taught himself to see every task as a chance to get better, show how disciplined he was, and sharpen his skills. Musashi saw obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities to learn. When you're having a hard time, your mind starts making up a story right away. The story of fear is, this is too hard, if your mind is weak. This is not possible for me. What if I fail? That way of thinking stops you before you even start. The story changes, though, if your mind is strong. This is a chance to grow. If I succeed, I move forward. If I fail, I learn. You have power when you think that way. Name all the great things that have happened in history. Someone behind it decided to see the thing that was in the way as a door instead of a wall. Seeing problems as chances to learn and grow changes everything. Fear turns into courage, and problems turn into growth. You must know that there are multiple ways to reach the peak of the mountain, Musashi wrote. When problems get in the way of one path, a strong mind finds another. A weak mind only sees the obstacle, while a strong mind looks for the way around it. Things will always be hard, that's the truth. That's out of your hands. You can change how you see things, though. When you have the right attitude, every problem is seen as a chance to move forward. Reason 2. It fuels persistence after inevitable setbacks and failures. Great things don't happen without problems. No, failure is not the enemy. It's what it takes to get better. The mindset of those who quit and those who achieve is what makes the difference. When failure happens, which it always does, having a strong attitude helps you keep going. Musashi himself went through a lot of hard times. Even when he was young, he fought in duels, usually against older, more skilled people. He lost his family, wandered around, and was turned down. But his determination got him where he needed to go. He knew that failures were not the end, but the thing that made him better. When you fail, the way you think shows. This shows I'm not good enough, a weak mind says. A strong mind says, this is proof that I'm on the right path. I need to keep going. What you tell yourself when you fail determines whether you get back up. Repetition is not the same thing as persistence. This is smart perseverance. It means making changes, learning from your mistakes, and trying again with more strength. After every fight, Musashi improved his plans so that he never made the same mistake again. He didn't win because he was perfect, he won because he kept trying. Bad things happen in every area of life, including work, art, relationships, and health. But they only last for a short time. Having a strong mind helps you see the big picture. It says in a whisper, this moment does not define me. I will go on. And that persistence turns defeat into success in the end. Musashi's life shows us that failing does not mean going down. Failure means not getting up. When you have the right attitude, persistence is your best tool, and no setback can stop you. Reason 3. It defines your belief in your ability to learn and grow. Mindset is all about how much you believe you can grow. Do you think your skills are set in stone, or do you think you can get better with work? Your fate depends on what you believe. Musashi wasn't always the best at using a sword. He became one by practicing over and over again. He wasn't focused on ability, but on what he could learn. He thought that if he worked hard, he could get better than anyone else. In order to learn not only the sword but also painting, calligraphy, and writing, he trained hard and never stopped. You think like this, I'm either good at this or I'm not. With a growth attitude, you believe that you can get better over time. One shuts off the door to potential, while the other lets in endless success. You are more interested in life when you think you can grow. Every mistake is a chance to learn. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn. Every victory shows that change is possible. This idea gives you momentum, and momentum gives you mastery. Today is victory over yourself of yesterday, Musashi wrote. How do you measure your progress? Not against other people, but against your own past self. That's what the growth attitude is all about. When you think this way, getting better is like winning every day. You can learn and grow no matter what your age, situation, or experience is. It depends on what you believe. You will find ways to learn if you think you can get better. You will stay where you are if you think you are stuck. The difference between being limited and being free is your mindset. If you believe in your ability to grow, you will achieve more than you ever thought possible. Reason 4. It influences what you notice and attract into your life. The way you think is like a screen. What you see and what you bring into your life are controlled by it. One person can walk through the same city and only see problems, danger, and lack, while the other person can see beauty, chance, and plenty. What's different? Thus, Musashi trained his eyes to see things that other people didn't. During fight, he saw gaps that his enemies couldn't see. He saw patterns in life that other people missed. This knowledge came from having the discipline to concentrate, stay calm, and see things clearly. If you think negatively, all you see are problems. Things and people that support your fears come to you. When you have a positive and disciplined attitude, you see chances and attract people who will help you grow. The mind is like the world. Imagine that your mind is a magnet. What you pay attention to grows. If you think about failing all the time, you'll find moments where fear stops you. If you think about growth, endurance, and possibilities, things will happen that help you make progress. Musashi had a simple philosophy. A clear mind makes life clear. He thought that you could control the outside world if you controlled the inside world. His wins weren't by chance. They came naturally as a result of training his mind to see things clearly. When you change your thought from one of lack to one of abundance or from fear to courage, it changes not only what you see but also what you make. If you have the right attitude, you'll attract chances that fit your vision and push away distractions that take away from your strengths. Reason 5. It sets your tolerance for risk and trying new things. Every goal worth chasing comes with some risk. There is a chance that you will fail, be rejected, or feel uncomfortable. There is no such thing as sure when it comes to new or important things. And the way you think determines how much risk you are willing to take, whether you go into the unknown or stay in the safety of the known. Miyamoto Musashi's life was full of danger. He fought some of Japan's best swordsmen in battle, sometimes by himself and sometimes with more than one opponent. He went into areas he didn't know, attacked whole schools of swordsmanship, and carried himself with just his sword and his discipline. This might seem risky to the normal person, but for Musashi, it was planned. His attitude wasn't based on fear, but on planning and faith in his own skills. That way of thinking helped him see risk not as something to avoid but as something he had to do to get better. People with weak brains see risk as danger. People who are in this group never leave their safe zones. Says in a low voice, "What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if everything goes wrong?" Asterisk, that's why it stays small, safe, and still. But a strong mind changes how risk is seen. Instead, it asks, what if this helps me grow? What if I do well? What if this leads me to something better? Asterisk, everything changes with that one thought. Risk is not the bad guy, it's what makes growth possible. Accepting the chance of failing is a part of every new skill you learn, every task you take on, and every step into the unknown. You stay where you are without it, though. Do nothing that is of no use, Musashi wrote. It doesn't help to avoid all danger because that keeps you stuck in the same things. As you grow stronger, the road that lets you take risks is the one that is most useful. Consider your own life. You have to be willing to take risks to get the job, the relationship, or the dream you have. They make you deal with uncertainty and act anyway. If you have the right attitude, danger is less about being afraid and more about what might happen. You will start to ask, what might I gain? Instead of, what if I fail? Musashi's life shows that the way to be great is not to avoid risk, but to face it with courage and understanding. The way you think determines how much risk you are willing to take. The stronger your attitude, the more ready you are to grow. Reason 6. It ultimately becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your attitude is more than just a thought in your head. It guides your actions and determines the outcomes of your actions. In the long run, those findings reinforce the way you thought before. A mindset can become a self-fulfilling promise in this way. If you think you can't achieve, you will not try, work less hard, quit easier, and take as many risks. When things go wrong, you say, "See, I was right." The same rule applies to your life. If you think you will lose, you unconsciously do things that make you more likely to lose. When you think about what's possible, you do things that make doors open. The promise you made come true is not magic. It's just how your beliefs affect how you act. Musashi once said, "Seeing is weak, but hearing is strong." When making a plan, it's important to see things far away as if they were close and close up from afar. What you think about yourself is what you actually are. The way you think shapes your life before you even live it. What you do is based on the words you say to yourself over and over again. The effects you get are the result of what you do, and the results make you think even more like you did at the beginning. It is very important to choose an attitude of strength, growth, and courage. The story you write today will become your reality tomorrow. If you carefully train your thoughts like Musashi trained his sword, you will make a great forecast.